What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am back to do my 2021 NBA Playoffs Conference Semifinal predictions. Now, with the first round of the NBA Playoffs in the books, we are now to the Conference Semifinal round to see which four teams will advance to their respective Conference Finals. So I'm extremely excited to do my Conference Semifinal predictions for you guys in the 2021 NBA Playoffs, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into the Conference Semifinals after a very good first round, we went 6-2, so we're coming in hot. And I'm looking to keep it that way. So I hope in this video we will continue the Red Hot winning ways and get another postseason winning record. Hopefully. And hopefully you guys will be able to watch this video and all the fantastic videos I'll be putting up on the channel in the month of June this year. And as always, show your support on the channel as always, guys, by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your NBA teams in the comment sections down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel today, guys, as a first time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, pick the good one if you're a huge fan of the NBA like myself, and you're ready for the conference semifinal round of the 2021 NBA playoffs. Welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is... two. Woo woo! Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into my conference semifinal predictions. Let's start off in the Eastern Conference with the first Eastern Conference semifinal showdown between the Philadelphia 76ers facing the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this is the third meeting in the postseason between the 76ers and the Hawks. The Sixers have won both meetings over the Hawks back in the 1980 Eastern Conference semifinals and their last meeting all the way back at the 1982 Eastern Conference first round. Now, Game 1 of this series already happened today with the Atlanta Hawks shocking the 76ers by winning Game 1, so the Hawks lead the series right now 1-0. Now, starting off with the Sixers first, they're coming off their first round series win over the Washington Wizards, finishing them up in 5 games. And let me just say something about the Wizards. If the Wizards want to make the playoffs next year, Russell Westbrook needs more help. But the Sixers got it done, and the Sixers are back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time in 2 years. But history in the Eastern Conference semifinals has not been kind to them. Now, here's a dangerous fact. Since their last Eastern Conference semifinal series win all the way back in 2001, the Sixers are 0-4 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. So they're looking to end this long losing streak and advance to the Eastern Conference finals for the first time in 20 years. Now, the big question was coming into this Sixers team was, will Joel Embiid play? And he did play in Game 1 today. But he is dealing with a torn meniscus, so we don't know if that injury is going to linger, but the Sixers have definitely got to step up in Game 2, because Game 1, they got smoked, and I mean smoked bad. They even had Triple H at the ringing the bell to start the game for the Sixers, and it still didn't matter. The Hawks got it done in Game 1, so the Sixers definitely got to rebound in Game 2 if they want to complete the process and bring a championship home to Philadelphia. There is the idea of the Atlanta Hawks coming off their Game 1 victory today over the 76ers and their first round victory over the New York Knicks, finishing up in 5 games. Let me just say something about the Knicks. As a longtime NBA fan, I am damn proud of the New York Knicks, what they did this year. I mean, a lot of people didn't even see them making the playoffs this year. Everybody was thinking they were going to go to the lottery as per usual, but they proved a lot of people wrong, including myself, and I'm damn proud of them. And I have a good feeling the Knicks will be back next year, because if you saw that Game 1 crowd in Madison Square Garden, that place was rocking like it was 1995, and Pat Riley was still coaching the Knicks. Patrick Ewing was still playing for the Knicks. John Sparks was still playing for the Knicks. It felt like 95 all over again. But I have a good feeling the Knicks will be back next year. But the Hawks got it done, and the Hawks are back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time in 5 years. And they are looking to advance to the Eastern Conference finals for the first time since 2015. Now, Atlanta got it done in the first round against the Knicks with the help of their fantastic superstar Trae Young. And they got it done today in Game 1 of this series with the help of Trae Young once again. And this kid is having one hell of a playoff year. And they are really the surprise of the Eastern Conference playoffs this year, because if the Hawks can knock off the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, they're going to have one hell of a thing to talk about in the offseason if this Hawks team can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or even make it to the NBA Finals, because we saw the Heat surprise the world last year. Could the Hawks be this year's Cinderella team? So coming from me in this first Eastern Conference semifinal showdown to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, this one's tough. I can see this series going 6, even though Philadelphia is down in this series. I can see it going 6, maybe 7, but coming from me, Even though they're down 1-0 in this series, I am going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers to get it done and defeat the Atlanta Hawks and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. And now the final Eastern Conference semifinal showdown, and this series is going to be an absolute banger between the Milwaukee Bucks facing the Brooklyn Nets. Now this is the fourth meeting in the playoffs between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. The Bucks lead the all-time series 2-1. Now the Bucks' last victory over the Brooklyn Nets, you have to go all the way back to the 1986 Eastern Conference first round, and the last time the Nets beat the Bucks in the playoffs, you have to go all the way back to the 2003 Eastern Conference first round when the Brooklyn Nets were the New Jersey Nets. Now, game one of this series already happened on, I think it was Friday, with the Brooklyn Nets defeating the Milwaukee Bucks, so the Nets are leading the series 1-0. Now, starting off with the Bucks first, they were coming off their 4-game sweep of the Miami Heat in the first round, and let me just say something about the Heat. The Heat just ran into a much better Milwaukee Bucks team that they played last year, and they just got smoked. But they will be back next year, and we're guaranteed a new Eastern Conference champion this year for sure. But the Bucks got it done, and this Bucks team is back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the second consecutive year, and they are looking to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 2 years. Now, the Bucks team that I saw in that 4-game sweep with the Miami Heat was the Bucks team I was waiting to see in the playoffs. We've been waiting for this fear the deer mentality to come into the playoffs, and they got it done in the best way possible in a 4-game sweep in the first round. But now they are down in this series 1-0, and they have got to get that fear the deer mentality into this series, or it's going to be deer in the headlights once again for the Milwaukee Bucks. There is idea of the Brooklyn Nets coming off their Game 1 victory over the Milwaukee Bucks in this series to lead the series 1-0, and they are coming off their first round series win over the Boston Celtics in the first round, finishing them up in 5 games. And let me just say something about the Celtics. The Celtics will be back. We all know Boston sports always rebounds after a playoff loss. We've seen the Bruins do it, we've seen the Red Sox do it, and we've seen my Patriots do it. And I got a good feeling the Celtics will be back next year. But the Nets got it done, and the Nets are back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2014. But history in the Eastern Conference semifinals has not been kind to them. Now, here's a dangerous fact. Since their last Eastern Conference semifinal victory all the way back in 2003, the Nets are 0-4 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. So they're looking to end that long losing streak and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 18 years, back when they were the New Jersey Nets. Now, the big shocker coming out of the Game 1 of the Bucks and Nets is James Harden does have a hamstring injury, and he is going to miss Game 2 of this series. But I mean, you lose James Harden for Game 2, but you still got Blake Griffin, you still got Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. This team is already stacked. They can lose one player and just add another player to that ridiculous roster they got with Steve Nash running it. This Nets team could be the hottest team in the Eastern Conference. So coming from me in this final Eastern Conference semifinal showdown to see who will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Brooklyn Nets leading the series 1-0. This series is going to be good. If you thought Game 1 was good, Game 2 and the rest of this series is going to be great. I can see the series going 6, maybe 7, maybe even a 5-game series. But coming from me, I am going to go with the Brooklyn Nets to get it done and defeat the Milwaukee Bucks and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2003. So my Eastern Conference Finals matchup will be the Philadelphia 76ers facing the Brooklyn Nets. And now on to the Western Conference, starting off with the first Western Conference semifinal showdown between the Utah Jazz facing the Los Angeles Clippers. Now this is the fourth meeting in the playoffs between the Jazz and the Clippers. The Jazz have won all 3 previous meetings over the Clippers in the playoffs, dating all the way back to 1992, 1997, and their last meeting in the postseason all the way back in the 2017 Western Conference first round. Now starting off with the Jazz first, they're coming off their first round series win over the Memphis Grizzlies, finishing them up in 5 games. And let me just say something about the Grizzlies. Ja Morant is going to be a freaking star. And don't be surprised the Memphis Grizzlies are back in the playoffs without being a play-in team. But the Memphis Grizzlies will be back. They just ran into a very good Jazz team. And the Jazz are back in the Western Conference semifinals for the first time since 2018. But history in the Western Conference semifinals has not been kind to the Jazz. Now here's a dangerous fact. Since their last Western Conference semifinal series win since 2007, the Jazz are 0-4 in the Western Conference semifinals. So they're looking to end this long losing streak and advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 14 years. Now, this Jazz team looked good in that first round series, and they are desperately looking to bring Utah an NBA championship. And it's been a very long time since the Jazz were in the NBA Finals. Since Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals between the Bulls and the Jazz. That was the last time the Jazz were in the NBA Finals. And they are looking to bring a NBA championship home to the city of Utah. They're excited of the Los Angeles Clippers coming off their Game 7 victory at home today over the Dallas Mavericks. And let me just say something about the Mavericks. Such a good team. Luka Doncic had an amazing Game 7, but the rest of the team just failed him. And I don't know. I don't know what Luka's going to do because they have all those great players like Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr., but they just cannot win in the playoffs. That's the second year in a row they've got knocked out by the Clippers, and losing a Game 7 is never easy. But the Clippers got it done at home, and the Clippers are back in the Western Conference semifinals for the second consecutive year. But history in the Western Conference semifinals has not been kind to the Clippers in their franchise because they are 0-5 in the Western Conference semifinals, and they are looking to advance to the Western Conference finals for the first time in franchise history. Now, the Clippers did get it done on the back of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Patrick Beverley and Serge Ibaka and Marcus Morris Sr., but now they have to do something that they couldn't do last year. Last year, they had a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference semifinals before blowing that lead to the Denver Nuggets. But now they get a second chance, a chance to make it to their franchise's first Western Conference Finals with a victory. So if they want to erase the demons of the past, they have to get it done in this series and not blow a 3-1 series lead like they did last year. So coming from me, in this first Western Conference semifinal showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference Finals, ooh, this one's going to be good. I can see the series going 6, maybe 7, but coming from me, I am going to go with the Utah Jazz to get it done and defeat the Los Angeles Clippers and advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 14 years. And now the final Western Conference semifinal showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference Finals this year between the Denver Nuggets facing the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Denver Nuggets are coming off their first round series win over the Portland Trail Blazers, finishing them up in 6 games. And let me just say something about the Portland Trail Blazers and to Damian Lillard. You need to leave Portland as soon as possible because your legacy is being absolutely tarnished in Portland, Damian Lillard, because you had an amazing Game 6 against Denver in that series, over 57 points, and your team failed you. It's time to leave Portland so you can be a star somewhere else because your legacy is being destroyed staying in Portland. So Damian Lillard, think, kid. Leave Portland and be a star somewhere else. But the Nuggets got it done, and the Nuggets are back in the Western Conference semifinals for the second consecutive year, and they are looking to make a repeat trip back to the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row. Now, I got to say it right now. Mile High Basketball in Denver is officially back. I mean, they got it done in that series. Nikola Jokic had a great game. Aaron Gordon had a great game. Michael Porter Jr., Austin Rivers, and this Nuggets team is looking to show that last year was no fluke. They can get back to the Western Conference Finals and quite possibly bring an NBA championship to the city of Denver. There is the idea of the Phoenix Suns coming off their first round series win over the reigning Western Conference and NBA champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. And let me just say something about the Lakers. I wonder what the excuse LeBron's going to have this time because this is the first time in his entire career he got knocked out of the first round. And with the injuries that piled up in that series for Anthony Davis and the Lakers trying to force him to come back for Game 6 and it just did not work, the Lakers are going to need a lot of moves if they want to be back in the playoffs next year. But the Suns got it done and the Suns are back in the Western Conference semifinals for the first time since 2010, and they are looking to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in over 11 years. And this Phoenix Suns team got it done on the back of playoff experience Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns star Devin Booker, and this Suns team really did something that a lot of people were actually hoping they would do, and that would eliminate LeBron James from the playoffs. So we're going to see if this Suns team can keep it going, and who would have think that the Suns, the last time they were in the NBA Finals was in 1996 against the Chicago Bulls when they had Charles Barkley. Now they have an amazing star in Devin Booker, and you have the playoff experience of Chris Paul. So, coming from me in this final Western Conference semifinal showdown to see who will advance to the Western Conference Finals this year, this series is going to be a fantastic one. Their regular season matchups were fantastic. I could see this series going 7 for sure. But coming from me, I am going to go with Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets to get it done and defeat the Phoenix Suns and advance to their second consecutive Western Conference Finals. So my Western Conference Finals will be the Utah Jazz facing the Denver Nuggets. And those are my 2021 NBA Playoffs Conference Semifinal predictions. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video today. Comment below. Who do you see winning all of these conference semifinal matchups? And who is your predictions for the Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals? Let me know who you guys got. And as always, represent your NBA teams in the comment section. Even if they didn't make the playoffs this year or were eliminated in the first round, still represent them. Let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to because comments and your opinions are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching my conference semifinal predictions of the 2021 NBA playoffs. Now, before you guys go, as always, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, guys can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we're just 5 subscribers away from 900 subscribers. And YouTube tells me that 69% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet. So what are you guys waiting for? If you're a fan of professional wrestling when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, NXT, Ring of Honor, and WWE, and if you're a fan of professional sports when it comes to the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, the NFL, college football, college basketball, super kick that subscribe button. It's free. Become part of this bigger, dangerous alliance. And I will see you guys on Monday for my official NXT TakeOver in your house 2 2021 predictions. Fatal 5-way for the NXT Championship. Later days, guys, and peace.